I'm Chylli from Channel Chylli, also known as Chai, and we are back with more Lobotomy Corporation, Day 40. Okay, so we need to complete every abnormalities research really quickly. There has to be one more sweeper around here. Where is it? Alright, I think that was everything in our facility now. They say the world was a place where one couldn't find happiness with their own way of life anymore, that it was a world where everyone had to fool themselves into thinking that fitting into a structured mold was happiness. Nobody sought history or religion anymore. No one needed those pillars. Under the guise of new innovations that were needed in the world, companies emerged using technologies known as singularities. Production of a permanent food supply, the manufacturing of customized living creatures, transport of cargo at speeds that would seem like teleportation, artificial intelligence that was more real than people, the technology to preserve the present by binding time, Italia. Similar to the food chain, small companies began to disappear or were eaten by the larger companies. At some point, they were called the wings of the world, and soon a head rose to control those wings. People started to derive their purpose for existence from belonging to the wings. However, the truth was, everyone was slowly melting like the wings of Icarus. They may appear to be encouraging the development of the world for the better, but their nature is no different from ours. There's always a price to pay. Any sane person would know that the deeds the wings commit in the name of betterment of society are in fact the most humiliating aspect of these corporations. They are the disgrace of the world and its people. Lobotomy corporations, rival energy corporations aren't that different from us, I presume. Who knows? Maybe they really are twisting dimensions to garner energy from hell, as the rumors say. In every man, the two instincts, the primal essence of life and death, coexist. The wings only guided our instinctive life. However, if one instinct were to dominate too much, the other would begin to make its move, slowly and unbeknownst to us, from the depths. Soon, a world where everyone wants to return to nothing will arrive. Into the stillness of silence before the birth of mankind, she who loved sunshine, who wanted to give hope to mankind but failed. When the hand that only wanted to embrace humanity with warmth was ruthlessly severed, you clutched the void and saw the crack between the boundaries that was never shown to others. Left alone, you decided to instill possibility and potential into all mankind. Hope and despair are intertwined in that possibility, making it impossible for anyone to know the answer. As all repressed things can be extracted from the earth, you said to yourself. In those days, you looked absolutely terrible. Many co-workers, friends, were worried about you and tried to comfort you, but you didn't care. You wouldn't listen to anything. I guess you still needed them at some point, seeing as you were the one who locked them away in here, barely holding onto the husks of their dead bodies. Welcome, May. I missed you dearly. I've been waiting for you ever since the very first day I started working here. Do you remember this ocean? You said that this place is where everything from all rivers and streams will eventually settle. As such, at the lowest layers, everything sinks. What do you think of this heaven painted laboriously white with plaster? I knew you would come here soon. Please, think of it as my welcoming gift to you. I figured that what you longed for to see may have been something else than what I have become now. Time is like a scythe. It relentlessly attempts to trim, divide, and cleave in twain the clasped together hands of those you love. Everyone I had loved is now gone, leaving me a tired old man behind. Please do not blame yourself. Back then were the brightest moments of my life. The only thing I regret to this day is that I was too scared. I ran away without keeping my abiding promise to you till the very end. However, you eventually found me and helped me to fulfill my promise here. How can I ever be more thankful than I am right now? You're just too kind to me, kind to the very end. Alright, now we need to do a midnight ordeal. Green Midnight will be the easiest one, but I want to do a new one for the extra gear from the mod, so I probably want to go with Amber Midnight. Violet Midnight is by far the hardest one. I've done all of them before, and yeah, Violet is bad. God fucking damn it. I'm going to pause my recording here and then I'll pick it back up when we're back at a Amber Midnight Ordeal thingy. Oh, okay, it was literally the next one. I didn't even need a cut there. Alright, there we go. That was the Amber Midnight down. That was actually fairly easy. It's been quite a while since your first encounter with the abnormalities. I should suppose that you've become a bit more familiar with them. Let me ask you this question again. What do you think the abnormalities are? Oh, please, you can't still believe that abnormalities are just bizarre alien creatures that appeared all of a sudden and that we need to isolate them, do you? Abnormalities are not the evil monsters you read about in old fairy tales. They're not some supernatural gods that descend upon us to judge our sins either. There's an old river that's been flowing at the very bottom of the world for many an age. It is the source of everything, but has been forgotten by mankind. Nobody knew of its existence, but somewhere in the world there are very small gaps or holes. It is through those that the river gently finds itself a stream. For instance, strange beings would sometimes crawl out of such a gap somewhere in the Black Forest located in the outskirts. Obviously, the amount was simply too insufficient for Lobotomy Corporation's energy needs. Our singularity is not that we produce energy from abnormalities, rather it is the ability to create abnormalities themselves. Their forms were incomplete because they came from a forgotten place. We were scared of them because they were incomplete. It is because of that terror that they have been sealed underground. However, abnormalities are part of the seed. That's what I meant by possibility. The seed is not something that can be made in just a day or be created on its own. We realized that if we wanted to fix a broken system, we couldn't just sit around in a sunny spot, waiting for the clouds to part. What should we do after planting the seeds, you ask? We can't control the entire process, we just have to leave them to sprout on their own. Aren't we allowed that much hope, at least? It's quiet, isn't it? Take a good long look at the silence. Manager, have you ever gotten up early to walk in the streets at the crack of dawn? I think this moment right now is equivalent to that dawn in the outside world. The abnormalities are currently in torpor due to the heightening of cliff-off deterrence during off hours. Meanwhile, the employees are sealing themselves for when fate decides whatever will happen to them. When the level of deterrence is weakened, the powers of the suppressed origins will soon wake them. It's so hard to believe that a place as quiet as this will just as soon be engulfed by pandemonium. How nice it would be to keep this tranquility. How many times do we have to fail? How much more must we be accustomed to the darkness to finally encounter the light? Good morning, His Ed, sir. Good morning, buddy. Good luck on your duties as always. Mr. His Ed, sir, I've been thinking, and I feel I truly am lucky to be assigned to the welfare team. Just getting into Lobotomy Corporation was really competitive, but being assigned to this team, it's like a miracle. You know brown-nosing won't gain you anything. Just think of it as flattery, sir. There really is no one who cares more about their employees like you do, has said, sir. I mean, just look at the department on the other side of our layer. That's not necessarily true. I just want to say I appreciate you and the many things you do, sir. Sorry for keeping you for so long. I'll be going now, said sir. Aye aye, go get yourself ready for the day. For many days I consoled myself by saying I wasn't doing that bad for a Sephira. I never put my employees on the verge of death like a certain red-clad Miss Someone did, and I managed to be flexible with various situations most of the time. Getting mad at someone for breaking a rule or two, or agreeing with someone who claimed to make this place better. When I take a step back and look at it all, I just can't help but think, what's the point of it all? Of course, I hope to send them off in peace, as they were just meant to die anyway. Meanwhile, I was hiding the biggest lie of all inside. Yet I've been playing the role of a great leader, knowing that it was all a falsehood. Lady Angela knew this too. He knew that I would never be the great man who'd expose every little secret of this place to the employees and try to overthrow the system and plot. Well, I mean, I just wanted to avoid pushing her buttons. Working as the head of the welfare department, I actually never cared about the welfare of our employees at all. I was so afraid. Angela stopped any seedling of doubt or inquiry about the nature of this place by killing off employees indirectly. Then I eventually decided to cover my eyes and ears and help Lady Angela with her affairs without questioning them. Hey, Izette, we have an emergency. You heard the status report, right? The abnormalities have gone out of control. I don't know what happened, but we need to retake control of the situation right now. I thought you didn't want to speak to me. What's gotten into you, Gebura? You're able to direct the deterrence, aren't you? We need to increase the level of cliff-off deterrence right now. Angela will call the rabbits if the rest of the abnormalities aren't suppressed. I want to wrap things up on my side of the facility. But Gebura, no one is allowed to touch the controller of cliff-off deterrence without Lady Angela's explicit approval, you know that. So you don't want to do it, you little coward? Do you really think you can just get over every situation by going through the motions? I hope you continue to rot until the day you die, succumbing to the fears like the servile bastard you are. Choke on those sugar-coated words your employees feed you. It's been quite a while since I've been grabbed by the collar. His head. You knew I was coming, didn't you? Seems you know me all too well. Perhaps you are the one who understands me most among our Sephiroth. Weaken the cliff-off deterrence, his head. What do you have up your sleeve this time, ma'am? Do you want to ask for reasons again after all this time? Gebura and the other employees are fighting right now, you know that, right? And Gebura is... Sorry, this is quite humorous to me. I didn't know you would talk about Gebura. You should know, you've seen her for yourself. Gebura has failed to control her enmity and now has lost her way. What I'm saying is, she's not fighting for some grand ideology. She should know best how she stands. Everyone has their own battle in this place, but I can't seem to shake off the feeling that I'm the only one who just observes the situation from afar, not taking any action. I thought you enjoyed those kinds of things, Hazen. Taking in a cup of coffee, enjoying the peaceful day, listening to your classical music. You would think that I am providing the right environment for you now. It seems our conversation has run on longer than I expected. Let me tell you one last time. Lower the deterrence. Alright everyone, let's make the best of today as always. Open the door. Who are you, ma'am? Your taste in music is rather classy, quite different from mine, however. I apologize, I didn't think you would open the door for me, so he simply walked in. How did you get inside? Do I know you? I've arrived from the head. I was so desperately looking for you all. The reason why I came all the way here is, well, let's just say I've showed up to play my favorite music. Excuse me, you there, can you tell me the name of this fine gentleman? Daniel. His name is Daniel. Daniel, is it? That name carries much more with it than you merit. I would assume that you're the one in charge of this place. Open that section where those monsters of yours are locked up. As you saw just a moment ago, it's nothing for me to open a locked door with my own power. I'm just being polite after all, asking you to open the doors. It's only fair as you're the one in charge here. I urge you not to resist, just listen to me. If you do so, a few of these people might be able to escape with their lives, no. It's easy to point the finger of blame at the betrayer, however, one never really knows what it feels like to be the target of such a thing until they've been in the shoes of that situation. Back then, a chill had come over my entire body. It was a fear I'd never felt before. I had faced numerous experiment-intended abnormalities, yet I never had experienced my body being paralyzed and my blood curdling in such a way before. So this is the head. Boss, enough with your orders. Don't try and make me justify my cowardly acts. I'm ashamed for consoling myself, saying that there was nothing to be done after passing straight through the tunnel of defeat. I'm so struck with shame and grief, I can't bear it anymore. This body of mine is like a punishment for me, reminding me of my past. I can't even bleed from this body. I don't want to undertake dirty work for Angela's show or be a puppet who gets praise and applause from everyone. Nor do I want to be your aide who can't do a single thing. Oh, this has been a series of shame for me. Manager, this shall be my rebellion against you and Angela. I'm the only one who survived, saying there was nothing I could do, that I was too scared to bear it all by myself, that I wanted to save at least a few of my co-workers. All those are meaningless excuses. I think I'm going to die soon, too. The head is on its way to get you. I'll see you again in hell, sir. How is fear able to dominate the human mind? How many people would stick to their beliefs and morals if they were to come face to face with a true nightmare? The answers to all those questions are why no one can blame Daniel's behavior. Truth be told, everything fell down the edge of the cliff the exact moment the head found us. Our last conversation came to an end with a hopeless silence. Daniel, he was intelligent and held a high societal position, and showed more finesse than anyone else in our research lab. He had an excellent reputation from the people who surrounded him. He had his sly yet charming smile and humor. It would have been easy for him to get into any one of the wings with his skills and personality, yet he chose us, not the wings. Though amazing he once was, there is no doubt he died in despair and regret, cursing his choice. Then the dead bodies of his coworkers strewn around in front of him, not even having the single comfort of knowing that it wasn't his fault. Unable to find any peace for his final rest. Are we managing to get closer to our goal? On the contrary to what people say, it appears that eating does not necessarily bring greater wisdom. Just look at this old man going through what feels like an endless cycle of intermittent greed, the obsession over things that have passed, pointless regret, now trapped in a routine of staring at the iron hands of time without reason. By the way, I've always wanted to ask you something. I notice you wear a sad expression on your face each time one of your employees died, just as I have become an old man. No human being is free from the cycle of life and death. As our research was to cure the disease, not to live forever, how about an example? Do you remember that one employee, the one who was nice and upfront with you? He passed away recently. When he received the letter that he was accepted into Lobotomy Corporation, he never would have expected to meet such a futile demise. If I wanted, I could have brought him back to you, but I did not. It is not in the order this place. It is in the order this place that an empty spot shall always soon be filled. Did you finally discover the secret of this place? Lies are trivial here. The tenuous hold on life can be severed so easily, and yet may come back as if nothing happened. We reach a point in which we don't even need to mourn their deaths. An employee who died just yesterday may come back from a simple call, yet another employee may never open their eyes again from a single wave of my hand. That is what death means here, eh? It is neither honorable nor noble, nor is it miserable or cruel like we may have thought it to be. So please, don't punish yourself too much. I do not wish to see you suffer from such a personal and insignificant thing. For the future will bring you much more pain to bear. You all might have noticed, but we never had this kind of situation before. Those monsters were supposed to be slumbering away, but now they woke up all of a sudden. There's no need to focus on what caused this. All that matters is that we can solve the problem at hand. Let me add a few words before we jump into battle today. I don't need cowards in my department. You should not let complacency waver your mind when you confront the monsters. You must arm yourself with anger and pure anger alone to crush those monstrous bastards. If you object to any of this, I suggest you transfer departments immediately. I won't squeeze out a tear or mourn over your perishing without even your name being left behind. If you want your body and mind to stay comfortable, I'll kindly drag your ass over to the pathetic welfare team so you can chicken scratch your dishonorable name on the waiting list for department transfers. There's good reason why my department has far fewer employees than any other. However, I want you to keep in mind that this also means only the best have gathered here. Meeting over. We'll talk more when the situation has been sorted out. Miss Gebura, I think your mainframe has sustained too much damage. Maybe we should suspend the suppression operation for now. Devrath is currently investigating the cause of the situation right now, so we should be able to figure it out pretty soon. I don't need a break, I can still fight. But in your condition... Shut up, I said I can still fight. 31 ego damage, 17 employees dead and counting, and your body needs 5 or 6 parts replaced and repaired. It's not thrilling to look after a machine who behaves like a child when in a temper tantrum. However, the Sephiroth of the middle layer apparently could not keep you on a leash, so here I am. Oh, poor little thing, look at yourself. There was a time when I had a pinch of admiration for that fire in your eyes. But now even that is smoldered with ire and madness. It is such a shame that the both of us are locked up in this dungeon. However, I did not bend over or break my back at the very least. I imagine we will no longer have to face off with our lives at stake and be at each other's throats like the past, but I will say this to you, pitiful thing. Stare directly into the object of your anger. The edge of your blade that has lost its way will be unfathomably blunt, for there is nothing but the void to slash, no matter how much the blade is sharpened. I hope you don't think I get some kind of satisfaction out of this, seeing your once earnest rival now looking as pathetic as a dog. I have decency, you know. Cutting, slashing, throttling, trampling, destroying. Sometimes I remember the faces of those who showed me true kindness. If I could just get the smallest taste of revenge upon those monsters who stole their smiles, their happiness, their future, my sword and spear would never stop their flurry. I see people dying in my blurred vision. They're always torn apart by monsters. Those dying faces differ from time to time. Sometimes they're strangers, sometimes I miss dearly, and sometimes I see Christopher, Miss Isabel. Whoever they are, I am filled with agony for them. Looking at my paralyzed leg and severed arm, I scream and curse my weak body in a fit of rage. Then I black out. I'm so sick of this darkness. It is impossible to fight with such low manpower. I cannot approve your proposal. Please reconsider. Why should I approve an operation that will so clearly end in failure? If manpower's the issue, I can make up for it. If they're too weak, I'll make up for that too. There's nothing in the rules against a Sephira utilizing ego too. If you so wish, then I won't stop you. A familiar grip, the right weight, and practice form. This feeling is so distinct that it pulls me right back into the right path, away from straying to wander, just like a road sign. I completely lose track of time when I wield my weapons. It was kind of funny to see Tifereth and Hazed with bewildered faces when they witnessed me return from battle covered in blood. No matter how hard I stab and break those monsters, they will recover sooner or later. Some of them wail and others scream. In battle, I also fracture and break some of my components, but those are soon replaced and repaired. What a perfect little hell just for me. Missing your arm? Here it is. Think of it as a respectful gesture to a fellow warrior to leave you with one of your arms intact. I doubt she expected this, the tragedy she would bring here caused by the oh-so-great ideology of hers. I don't know if it will ease your pain, but this happens quite often, more often than you may think. It is no less common than, say, a little seedling getting trampled to death. I must admit that you're quite the tough sprout, however. You even managed to thwart my plans a little. I never expected you would kill 2 claws and stop all of the monsters, and finally come to face me and give me a fair fight. By the way, about those monsters, I cannot deny that they're astonishing things. Even after plowing through a hallway of your friends, they never softened nor tired. It seems you are much different from them now that I ponder on it. Alright then, if you can still manage to hold a weapon and stand up on your own 2 feet, then command me. I will not be broken. If I cannot get rid of these damn monsters, I'll destroy the whole company myself instead. Then finally, my aimless wrath can crumble with it and rest beneath the earth forever. Among the many fixes of the backstreets, she was one of the few who could go toe-to-toe with the head and the claw. She was called the Red Mist among the backstreet's denizens. That was a name she earned protecting us from all kinds of threats and maneuvers on the outside. Michelle's betrayal led the eye to the den we hid in, and the head mercilessly threw their claws at us. Instead of dealing with the Red Mist directly, the ever-cunning head unleashed the unstable abnormalities to slaughter us. The abnormalities were out of control, tearing apart our comrades who screamed in agony. All while the claws sniffed out their prey and snatched it. The whole situation was beyond what she could handle by herself, but she gave everything she had to protect us. She lost an eye, one of her arms was severed, and she had numerous deep scars all over her body she could no longer heal from. Yet she didn't give up, and eventually her efforts saved Bea and I from death. The cadaver demonstrated the horrendous, unbearable situation she went through. After a long time had passed, her eyes opened again. However, her anger that lost its focus dragged her down deep to the bottom. We had to reboot her many, many times. Alright, well, that video went on quite a lot longer than I intended for it to. I might actually have to cut this into 2 parts because of how long it is. Anyway, yeah, that's where I'm gonna end today's video, so if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!